You're watching Beyond the Whistle, brought to you by NCTV.
Hello and welcome everybody. I'm Matt here for NCTV with my partner and colleague Scotty Luntz. We're down to 4 teams in the NCAA tournament. We got South Carolina, Gonzaga, North Carolina, and Oregon playing in Phoenix this weekend for a shot at this year's national title. How's it going, Scotty?
It's going well, Matt.
So let's just hop right into it. We're going to break down some regions. Scotty, talk to me about your team, Gonzaga. That's who you picked at the beginning of the tournament. Talk to me how they got here and break down that bracket for me.
Well, I told you, this Gonzaga team is much different than Gonzaga teams in the past. They actually have proven that although they're in a weak conference during the regular season, they can beat high-quality teams. You saw them beat West Virginia and some other teams so far in the tournament to make their way to the Final Four. Defense is the key for this team, but going against Sindarius Thornwell is going to be hard. Obviously, we know he's carried this unlikely South Carolina team. Although they were a 7 seed, I think they qualify as a Cinderella team so far. And hopefully Gonzaga can guard him because that will be the key to winning the game. Then Gonzaga is one of the best teams in guarding the 3. However, South Carolina is also. South Carolina forced Grayson Allen to go 4 for 14. Luke Kennard and Grayson Allen go 4 for 14 beyond the arc in their game. That's going to be a key to Gonzaga, a team that's used to having their way, again, in a weak conference.
Yeah, no, you're talking about South Carolina. I'm going to talk about the East region here for a second. And I like South Carolina a lot because of Sindarius Thornwell, who's a terrific player. And he's played well really all year. And he's the SEC Player of the Year, a guy who not many people talked about. But he's had a great tournament, has really come into his own in this month of March here. Looking at this bracket on this show, I said I can't wait for this big Elite 8 in Madison Square Garden between Duke and Villanova. Neither of those teams even got to Madison Square Garden for the Sweet 16. So that's what can happen in this tournament. That's what can happen in March. But South Carolina, they've looked good. And you talked about the defense. They have, I think, the second best defense in the country, and especially left in this tournament behind Gonzaga. And the problem with South Carolina all year, the reason why they're such a low seed at 7, is because everybody knows how good their defense is, but it's the offense hasn't been good enough. But in this tournament, they've made shots, and they've been playing good offensive basketball. So don't judge this team that came into the tournament and was given a 7 seed. Look at the team that's beaten Marquette and then went through the 2, 3, and 4 seeds in the East region. They've played great basketball. Like I said, Sindarius Thornwell has been wowing me night after night. He can shoot the ball, rebound, he can attack the rim, he can do it all. And they got a lot of really good players. P.J. Dozier, Dwayne Notice, and the big fella, Mike Kotsar. I think he's been playing great off the glass. So, I'm rolling with South Carolina. We'll get to our official national title picks in a little bit. But, looking at that region, South Carolina was the last team I was going to take out of that region. But they put a run together. My sister's down at school there, so I got South Carolina fever. And I'm loving what I've been seeing. Now talk to me about Oregon. How'd they get here?
All right, Oregon, the key to this team is shooters shooting. They lost a big guy and their starting center before the season, and they didn't know if they were going to be able to recover, but Tyler Dorsey has been shooting 42% on three-point attempts, has really picked it up. This team is all shooters, and that will be the key for them winning. Jordan Bell, who came in as a starting power forward, had 8 blocks versus Kansas, and also was the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year. This guy is an X factor to this game. He's had 3 straight double-doubles so far in the tournament, and he's going to be a big factor for Oregon. Also, you got Dylan Brooks and as I said, Tyler Dorsey, who are primary playmakers. They'll have to get it off to Jordan Bell in the paint, and that will be the key to them because we know that UNC is going to try to lock off, and they're going to try to get those shooters to drive in the paint where they're comfortable. But they have to get it to Jordan Bell and be able to have that option in the middle.
Yeah, you know what? I think Oregon's had a great run and a great team this year. And when they lost Boucher, like you said, I thought their season was just about over. I thought they were going to maybe get to the Sweet 16, but on the backs of Tyler Dorsey and Dylan Brooks, who I think is one of the best players in the country and has been for quite some time here at Oregon. He's had a great career there, and I'm happy to see him get to this Final Four. But those 2 all-world guards that they have in Dorsey and Brooks, I think it's going to make for a very good game against North Carolina. But I'm still going to roll with North Carolina in this game, because I think they're just too good. I think they're much better than Oregon, and they're too good. When you look at a team like Oregon, you look at a team like North Carolina, I think it should make for a pretty good game because they both have a lot of talent, good coaching, and what have you, great years behind them. The thing about North Carolina is they need to play very, very bad to lose a game. And I thought against Arkansas and I thought against Kentucky, they did not play that well. Luke May saved them at the end of the game, but they can play better than that. And they have a lot of great talent. Justin Jackson, ACC Player of the Year, very good player. Like I said, Luke May, he's coming onto his own. He's had 2 very good games, and that's what you need in March. That's what happens in March. Guys come into their own. Joel Berry, Kennedy Meeks, they got so much talent. And Roy Williams, who's been a phenomenal coach, UNC Kansas over this last couple years, well, couple decades, I should say. So I'm rolling with UNC just because I think the best team's going to win. And Oregon needs to do so much to beat this team, and North Carolina needs to play so poorly to lose that I just don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, like we say, going against the Patriots, you have to play a near-perfect game, and it's like that going against UNC. So I'm going to pick UNC also to make it to the national championship. I'm going to have Gonzaga beating South Carolina. Gonzaga is on fire right now, first Final Four in school history, and you got guys in the paint like Zach Collins and Przmak Tarnowski, the Polish monster, who's really dominating. He's converting more than 60% of his 2-point attempts, and that's going to be a huge factor going against South Carolina. We know they can guard against the 3, as I said before, but I don't know if they'll be able to stop those 2 big men, so I'm going to take Gonzaga there.
So now before I make my national championship pick, I figured we'd show you the 4 teams we had going to the Final Four before the tournament started. And let's just say you should take our picks with a grain of salt because I'm 0 for 4. Scotty's 3 for 4 as national champion. Gonzaga is still there. I had Duke winning it all, playing Arizona and then Kansas and UCLA, and I really thought I was pretty confident with those picks. Did not work out so well, but that's March for you. So what are you going to do about it? So for me, I'm taking the hot team because when you're hot, you're hot. I'm rolling with the South Carolina Gamecocks. Sindarius Thornwell, I'm taking as most outstanding player. And you know what? I just think that sometimes the best team doesn't always win. I think they're a good enough team to get it done, and they just got magic on their side. They're rolling. I think they're going to knock down shots. I think they're going to win this year's national championship. You're taking Gonzaga. Who do you like as most outstanding player?
I like Przmak Tarnowski. This guy, as we know, he averaged 12 points and 8 rebounds in the season. And I think he's going to have his way against South Carolina and then eventually against UNC or Oregon. I don't see that either of those 3 teams can really stop him. I think he's going to come into the paint, he's going to dominate, and Gonzaga is going to be able to work it around the arc. However, that's not their strong point, and it's going to be in the paint that they dominate. So that's my pick for most outstanding player.
All right, so I've got the Civil War. I've got North Carolina, South Carolina. Scotty's got Gonzaga, North Carolina. We're both taking North Carolina to get to the title, but we both got different teams beating them. We'll see what happens this weekend. For now, this has been Matt Schlegel, Scotty Luntz for NCTV. Thank you.